Hi everyone, it's Wednesday, it's 5 o'clock. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about finding balance. And obviously, as we always like to, I have a little sprinkling in of AI. So what I wanted to talk about today is redefining success by prioritizing well-being and boundaries and sustainable habits. So again, when you think about yourself, it's all about today just joining me, whether you're watching on live or on replay. I just want to go through a few things that might help, I hope. So today, as I say, we're talking about something that so many mums, entrepreneurs and professionals quietly struggle with, and that is finding balance. So when life is full of deadlines, school runs, inbox overload, you've all been there. I'm sure that's resonating with all of you. And the constant pressure of what to do, balance can slip into the background. So let me just set the scene. I want to start by asking you something. And if you're not live, you're welcome to put it into the chat below afterwards if you're watching this on record. But when was the last time you asked yourself, what does balance look like for me right now? Because it's not about what you should be doing or what someone else thinks you should be doing. It's actually about you allowing yourself some time to breathe, to rest, and to feel a bit more like you. Because the truth is, balance is different in every season. So again, as I said, for many mums, busy professionals, success gets tangled up with always being on. You know what it's like. As I say, that will resonate with you. You've always got a million things going on, and you do overcommit. I mean, I know I am especially one for saying yes. I've never learned the no word, but it's so important, I think, when you're trying to balance, to make sure that you have a bit of time. So don't overcommit, she says. Don't overstretch yourself. Sometimes ignore the boundaries and burn ourselves out quite quietly. I mean, which is what we do. We sit there and we burn ourselves out. We don't say anything. We don't ask for help. We just keep going. And that's what women do. And again, I know that you'll all be saying that. And I think sometimes, you think to yourself, you can run on adrenaline, but not forever. You were never meant to sacrifice yourself to keep everything and everyone else in order. But I know we all do that. So think about this. Shift to empowerment. And if you take nothing away from this today, take that sentence, shift to empowerment. Because balance isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing things right and doing them intentionally. And I think that's, again, where the balance comes in. So it's all about creating the boundaries that you can honor, that you actually can honor, that you say, okay, I can do that and I can fit that in okay. It's about having habits that support you. And again, habit building is something we'll come to on a later session. But when you think about habit building, it does bring you in line because, if you start doing something, you will continue to do it. So that is also saying no without guilt because, again, I know if someone asks me to do something and I say no, I'll feel guilty for the rest of the day. It's how we are. But absolutely, please, please don't feel guilty for saying no. At the end of the day, if you burn yourself out, you're no good to anyone. So just remember that. And it's about building some rest into, the definition of your success. And again, I know it's not easy. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to sit here and say that's easy because it just isn't. But when you think without recovery, there's no growth. I remember talking to someone in the team the other day who said to me, have you had any lunch, Lynn? And I said, I haven't had time for lunch today. And she said, this afternoon, you won't work at your full capacity unless you stop and do something. But we're all guilty of it, I know. Just sometimes just make that your habit. I would say a couple of good habits to have will be, and again, here's me saying this, but go for a walk, even if it's a short walk around the block or down your garden, and also make some time for lunch. And like I say, I am sat here saying that to you, and you know, I need to start practicing what I preach for sure. But again, something else, and you know, you'll hear this on the Mums on Cloud 9 Summit, which I'll talk about briefly in a second. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder from that. But AI is helping us to get that balance. It's helping to remove the noise. I mean, we know mums that are meal planning, they're budget planning, they're scheduling family holidays, they're automating repetitive tasks, prioritising wellbeing routines. And, you know, when you think that you can potentially save yourself 5 to 10 hours a week if you reclaim that time back. And again, don't fill that with all that background noise again. Use that time to help you and replace your balance. It's so important. So a couple of practical balance prompts that I would give you, a couple of tips, is think about if you're feeling stretched. Think about timelines. They are really important. If you set yourself a deadline that is a bit more stretched, then you'll hopefully be able to fit more things in. And I know everything gets on top. And, you know, again, you'll hear me saying about empty the washing on the floor and just fold it up, put it back in neatly, one at a time, because sometimes it's good to logically think about that. Think about what can you automate? How can AI help you? Think about what can I realistically schedule? So when you're thinking that, that's where that no comes in. Because if you can't realistically say yes, don't. Again, I would say for me, you know, it's about saying things properly as well, isn't it? You know, if you say no, you can say it in a certain way that, you know, no, I would if I could, but I can't. You know, everyone is so waylaid with all of this stuff. If you can release up some time, try and use that time to better use, because again, once you make them habits, that will help to restore. Think about balance, because balance shifts. Balance evolves and it changes with demands, it changes with seasons, it changes with the reality of family life and working life. And if your balance looks different to someone else's, that's not wrong, it's just real. So again, just think about that. And I did just mention the summit, and again, have a look on the Mums on Cloud 9 podcast website, and I can drop the link in, because together, Mums on Cloud 9, we will be exploring how women can work smarter, not harder. And again, I know that smart word is also always so important, but just, you know, start thinking about how you can use AI, how you can create those boundaries, how you can get that mindset, and so your well-being doesn't get buried under the laundry. There's that that I said just now, that little saying, and it also, you know, everything in life, there's the laundry, there's the cooking, there's the children, there's the taking them to clubs, there's the taking them to school, there's tea times, bedtimes, and then amongst all of that, there's all of your work and prioritizing your tasks, your daily tasks, your admin work. I mean, there's everything is, you know, is in your head, and you need to find some balance for sure. And when you think that, you know, women have support tools, they have community, and I think I know with Supermums, the community is great and everyone helps and supports each other. But again, you still need to find the balance yourself. So here's the question. And again, if you're watching this on record, then please just drop it in the chat. So what's one boundary or habit that could help you be more balanced? Think about that. I'll give you a couple of examples. Is it shutting your laptop at 5 or 4 or 3 or whatever time you work? Depends on whether you work flexibly or what you do. Does it mean meal planning on a Sunday to free yourself up to just cook the meals through the week? Does it mean blocking, no meetings in the morning? Again, that is quite useful to catch up with your admin and your tasks. Does it mean scheduling, movement, making sure that everything is scheduled perfectly so that you, perfectly, that's a great word, isn't it? Or simply just saying, I'm sorry, no, not right now, I can't. There's no wrong answer, but as I said, it'd be great to see what your answers are. So I hope you found this useful. Tiny decisions can protect your peace. Where you put your energy can also help you, and how you choose to rest. They're all great tools to use in your daily life. Even if it's just taking 10 minutes to just walk away and walk into the other room and just take a little bit of a breather, take a breath and just have 10 minutes to yourself. And, you know, sometimes that's all you can do. But again, if you feel like, you need to get out and you're able to, of course, then, maybe just go for a walk around the block. But just try and find that balance. So if you haven't already, just as I said, just try and find that balance, try and find some time. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I love doing these sessions on a Wednesday. So thanks for being here again. So stay curious, honor your boundaries, don't forget that, and keep creating space for balance. So I'll see you next Wednesday, live at 5. My next week's topic is a great one, and it's something that I absolutely love. So it's about finding connection. When you think about creating meaningful relationship networks that build you higher, personally and professionally, and of course, as you've heard me say before, building your personal brand is so important. So beyond that, I would just like to say thank you once again for joining me. I am always here. Reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Mums on Cloud 9, find me on Supermum's website. I mean, as you will know, at Supermums, we have a mission to get more women into tech. So if you want to talk to me about that, come and find me and ask me. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.